I'm part of the Dene Nation, part of the Kiowa Nation, and part of Shoshone Nation. Okay, I got relatives representing all those branches and tribes in North Dakota, in Coeur d'Alene, in Idaho. I got relatives all the fuck over, and my Kiowa ancestors got dragged down to Oklahoma, where they're part of the Oklahoma state on the fucking reservation.
All right, then you should move back down here. So
I've been to
the old topic of the show. We could probably just close that topic. Already destroyed J.R. Bus from Traditional Culture Preservation Society and Red Pill.
What are you fapping about right now?
Fapping? That's the topic.
Is he fapping?
He's fapping his own little ego, acting like he did something big. He didn't do shit.
That's quite the accusation.
He crushed somebody again, I'm sure.
Yeah, I destroyed Jared Busk like 2 months ago.
I don't
think and you're bringing it up now.
I don't think
I blame women for the left wing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is saying that men suck specifically a leftist thing?
Also, did Neve leave, or what happened to Neve?
I don't care.
She rage quit.
Oh, no, I was gonna tap in for old Joe. I was tapping in for old Joe.
Quit.
Who's the big?
Then just buy him back in.
Old Joe, I think you won this round. You told her "good day, sir," and she left. So, points to you.
Open your wall and buy him back in, Hi-Fi, if you care.
Well, he's got 17 more minutes if he wants to jump back on. That's okay.
17.
Misgendering someone means you take the L, by the way.
But since Steve left, that was the only person arguing that point that the Canadians are trying to say that you're not patriotic if you don't completely, give in to the left-wing propaganda. So I agree.
You're not Canadian patriotism if you're supporting another country initiating harm against your country.
I disagree. I think Canada is always
I'm not leveling a criticism or praise on it. I'm just pointing out that it's literally the opposite of patriotic.
I disagree. Yes. I think Canada's always been a nation of bending over for America, and so it's patriotic to keep bending over for America.
I think they both had weak arguments. Just follow America because they're Americans, a silly argument, and support the left wing.
Steve's back, by the way.
Sorry, my bad. I fucking I hit the kill switch on my wall that disconnects everything, so I killed my modem.
Okay.
A similar thing in America.
Button.
Hey, sorry,
a similar thing in America, Flo, is they'll say that you don't support democracy if you don't bend the knee to the left wing. So that's another.
Oh my God, this is not about partisan politics.
Literally,
that's the only setting he has.
You're seeing this American left-right paradigm, right?
Yes.
But Hi-Fi, would you support, say, I don't know, Taiwan imposing tariffs on America if their right wing did it? No, you wouldn't.
Right.
No, I don't support any.
Thank you for steel manning that in an honest way, Flow State. Appreciate it.
What I heard from
that also presumes the world's playing on a level playing field. So
no, it doesn't assume anything like that.
Hey, Flo, should we do business with socialist countries that use slave labor to cheat the free market?
Yes,
perhaps.
Maybe.
You have no problem with children's sweatshops making your luxury goods.
Well, that's quite hyperbolic of you. You don't have
that's
a problem
China.
with it even more than I do because
reality.
We're all talking to each other on
what
the same
happens in reality.
Can I finish
it's literally China. So how are you going to replace all those electronic sci-fi? Where am I going to get them from?
By paying good citizens an honest wage to do.
Why don't you do that then?
Where am I going to buy the electronics from, Hi-Fi?
You'd have to get rid of that iPhone and that computer and that, you have to start.
Americans invented computer chips. I'm pretty sure we can figure out smartphones, so it's not that hard.
So do you have a chip presser in your backyard or something?
You're not morally superior.
The reason why they're competitive is because of the slave labor. The fact that they have to transport it means that if it was equal cost for the labor, it would cost more expensive for the Chinese models because they'd have to transport from China over to America. So you want to level the playing field because they're using slave labor.
Right, comparative advantage.
On my way up, just because my internet was cut out, did I hear Mel saying that bending over backwards for America is Canadian patriotism?
You just said bending
say
over.
that?
We're good at that.
Oh, you believe that?
Yes.
Okay, crazy. Do you support? So you support Trump and the tariffs?
No.
Oh wow. Okay, great. One Canadian that doesn't.
No, I just
believe this.
noticed that like Canada's role is kind of like, stand down and stand by for America or whatever they do, kind of thing.
Neve, who would you
Why
bend
does
over for if it's
Canada
not
care
America?
about
Hey.
United States politics?
What? Say again.
Why
Who
does
would you bend over
Canada
for if
care
it's
Sorry.
about
not
United
America?
States
I
politics?
have two questions. I have two
Mexico.
questions at once.
Who do you
Why
want a
does
question
Canada care about United States politics?
Why does Canada care about the United States politics? Because I think there's an expression in Canada, when the US gets sick, Canada catches a cold or something to that degree. And I think it's true, but I think explicitly when the the economic whatever sort of position of the United States is directly
Canadian
impacting Canadians' bottom lines, then yeah, we have to care. It's like it's not about do we watch your elections, do we care about your Democratic or Republican politicians? It's not about that. Again, it's all whittled down to essentially one economic issue that is going to be impactful. It was the first time he was in politics. It was the first time he was in politics. He took a big bite out of a few of our industries. So it's not even just like scaremongering. It really will happen.
Pipeline?
No. Again, that pipeline. I would. Okay. Well, I mean, in
Alberta,
your.
yes, that'd be nice to see that going good.
Okay, what does that even mean to you, Rachel?
It means money. It means
Okay, can you be
prosperity.
more like less hyperbolic about it? Can you be more specific about it? What does it mean? What does it mean getting our oil out, right? Can you Sorry, say again.
It means money coming into Canada from the United States.
Okay, so you're talking about
industry.
Alberta oil. So do you even understand the challenges that we have with Alberta oil, or are you just saying money?
I
Because
don't know. What are the
daddy
challenges?
said so.
What, the environment? If you
No,
say the environment,
The challenges are the type of oil that we have in the fucking Canada.
You're not
and
gonna use it.
Our
Give it to
inability
us.
to convert it into what's sold worldwide. So what do? We
So
ship
we
it
have-
south,
so-
they
so
refine
oil-
it, and then they use it, right? We have shale oil. It's not very valuable on the world stage, right?
We'll take
so
it.
it sounds like maybe, if you actually cared about our country, then you would have maybe some position based in Alberta, focus on, building a pipeline in addition to refining our own oil and not sending it south.
We'll
But you don't
take it. We're
fucking know
fracking.
that because you're an American nationalist trader. So
We're cracking bunch of oil.
My apologies in advance. Rude Mud Crab comes in with the big 5. He says, never forget, Furby wants minors to have access to corn, minors to be sexually active, and for fetus deletion to be up until the umbilical cord's cut.
Never
Is that
forget.
true about the umbilical cords, Furby?
That's no good, Furby.
No, I actually didn't say that. So
Oh.
I actually said that when you go into labor, you might as well just have it. So that's Rude Mud Crab never gets my positions right, and at best
I
can
think
only
that sounds
gesture
right.
at things that they're being a reactionary about. So, self-report.
Fair. That's fair.
Hey
And-
Mel, you can go further beyond. Just tell them that the Bible allows infanticide. That is factual.
what Crab is alluding to is a debate that Mel and Crab had where most liberal left-leaning people will pick they actually have like a month, like whether it's 17, 18 weeks, whatever month sort of situation, they will at least, in their pro-choice pro-abortion stances, they know when to draw a line. What Crab is identifying here with the umbilical cord is that Mel doesn't have a line. 8 months, 7 months down the road, the baby fully formed, Mel doesn't care about that. She's pro-abortion in any circumstance. That's what he's identifying there.
The Bible allows 1 year post-birth.
No, I said up until they go
And
into
old
labor.
Sarge
so-
Finkel had something to say, I suppose, and he wanted to get it out there. Coming in with the big 20, he says, is Joe Rogan a big name in the manosphere? Was his biggest brag on Trump? He went 3 hours without taking a pee. Anybody can respond.
Negative. Joe Rogan's not a big name in the manosphere.
Yeah, he's not master.
I feel
He
like
doesn't hate women enough.
I feel like I hear that name a lot in the panel verse. I don't know necessarily about the manosphere though.
Hey, that's why I didn't say that.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think he really gets pulled up on that side of things. So.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
What
Oh,
else a
that's
break?
pretty good.
What was the original topic of the name of the stream? Don't
Oh,
beat me up,
Lord have
Sarah.
mercy. Women aren't to blame. You just suck. Women's coping in the manosphere.
All right. All right. If he goes back there, well,
Well,
I don't know if
what do you think, Joe? Do you think men are just coping in the manosphere and crying about their wives leaving them and how they can't get dates because women don't like them because they're not 6 foot, six
Where the
pack,
fuck are all
six
those pussies
figure.
hiding at?
yeah, we're both making excuses. Men and women both are sad. Both are to blame. And men, I'm old fashioned, man. I think men are the leader, and if your woman's not, acting wrong and all of that shit, man, correct it. And you should have to do it here. You don't have to yoke a motherfucker or yell or any of that. You be patient. You change your energy. You do those things. If you can't do those things, then I don't know. It's not.
Shit, are we
hard.
back on topic?
Yeah, we're moving there
We
now.
were trying.
Holy cow! Oh, Joe for the win. Cool, Joe. All right, cool, Joe. All right.
Teriyaki. I know you've been patiently waiting quietly.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
So I think this is a very nuanced issue because, like Joe was saying, it's like you can put blame both sides. Like we often hear the stat that women find 80% of men unattractive, but when you look at the obesity and overweight statistic, it's like 75% of the population is either overweight or obese. The 3 out of 4 guys, or 75% of the guys are overweight or obese. So no wonder women are finding 8 out of 10 men unattractive because they're fat fucks. On the other side to it, though, there are things that the red pill community or the manosphere, like there's certain points that they actually bring up that are good points where like a woman is incentivized to leave a marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So here's
So
the
it
thing,
goes both ways.
Teriok. Yeah, Teriok. The BMI is discredited because what's they rate as healthy is little string beans that I can break with one hand. That's ridiculous.
We know America has a weight problem. We don't have to.
Yeah,
argue
they
that
do have a
one,
weight
right?
problem, but BMI has a problem in its own. So we need a different metric.
No, this is just purely like body fat percentage. So I think it's like if you're above like 10-15% body fat.
No, that's not how BMI works, though.
Hank, bro, they're just
No,
fat.
I'm not talking about BMI.
Yeah.
I'm talking about body
Interesting
fat
to know.
percentage.
Men
how
are
it
able
works,
to
Hank.
handle like near 0% body fat and still be healthy. It's not the same for women.
Okay. What is the actual point Teriak is making here, though?
The point that I'm making is that women finding 8 out of 10 men unattractive. It actually makes sense when you look at like the how poor the diets are, how fat people are, particularly men. Because a woman, it's not the same for women. It's not the same for women because a woman can be overweight and that just enhances her features. She has bigger breasts, she has a bigger ass.
That's ridiculous.
So
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Fat bottom girl.
I think when
What you
we're
mean?
considering attraction, we have 3 kind of metrics that come together in a triad or work together in a triad that we have to consider.
Normally
First
only
is-
2 of them come together.
Okay, cool. First is financial security. Second is sexual attraction, which often takes the form of who's strongest, who's more
One in the
aggressive,
chat if you're bored as fuck.
who's able
in the
to
mouth.
display their masculinity. And the third component is romantic attraction, which is how happy do they make me feel, how safe do they make me feel in a more like soft kind of way, how good are they around kids and stuff like that. And that's the person they're going to have a long-term relation with, as opposed to who they are sexually attracted to for short-term relationships.
That wasn't horrible, Flo. That wasn't horrible.
It was boring though. It wasn't horrible.
I-Fi, what do you
Yeah.
think?
I think Flo destroyed his own argument earlier when he pointed out that equal rights equals lefts, and so since women have equal rights, they get equal blame. So this debate is over.
What point was I making that you think got destroyed?
What?
You were trying to make the point that equity and inclusion and all your left-wing bullshit, but what you didn't realize you undermined your
Wait,
entire
no,
argument. You're trying to argue that
You just said a
women aren't
noun.
to
You
blame.
didn't say what my point was. You just said a noun.
What
is
his
it
point
about equity
was
and
that
inclusion that was the
equal
point?
rights means equal left. So if we're going to give them the same
Hi-Fi,
right, then they get
please
the same
steel
blame.
man my point before you continue any further.
Okay, let me steel man it for you. So the patriarchy controls all the women, And so, like, they're just little robots, and they do what we tell them to do. So we can't blame the little women's. They're just dumb little pretty girls.
You're being sarcastic because you
That
don't
was your
know what you're talking
skill,
about.
man.
That's the best argument you're going to get out.
That was
of
a
him.
rust,
So
man.
Imagine what the worst argument.
Right.
Like.
You're arguing against nobody. You don't even know
That
what
was
my
a steel
point.
man that's rusted from lots of tears.
I think
And
real.
you're an icon. So get back on screen right after you.
I'm an
complained about
icon.
not coming
Thank
up.
you. I'm an
No,
icon.
flow state. Flow states.
Oh,
not on
okay, well,
screen.
I'm
shit.
eating, you dumb fuck.
I find it
Here, you wanna watch
quite
me eat?
funny that you stated that this debate is over.
Look at that
for
jaw
10
motion.
Yeah, they already watched me eat, so why
Hold
not?
on, hold on. Finkel was going.
Sorry, Finkel.
10 impassioned people who feel strong about what they're talking about. I loved it when you said this debate is over. I don't think it's over.
You got wrecked.
You don't even know what it is. You have no idea what my position is.
Well, I haven't.
If you had a position, we could argue with it. That's true, but you might.
I
have
do
to
have
come
a
up with
position.
one first.
I was making a point with that illustration. You don't know what it is, though.
If you have a position, I'm going to need XY coordinates.
His
You can go
position is
back
the
and leave off the
missionary
video.
position.
AY coordinates, and that's about it.
And a little bit of
Do we
doggy.
blame women? Yes or no, Flo? Let's start
Girl
there.
on top.
Should we blame women?
For what?
For
I don't
what?
know, ask
Blaming
ask
men or
the
women,
debate
what are we
prompt.
blaming them
Read
for?
the title of the video.
Okay,
Panel.
Hi-Fi, do you
You
think
have
we
to
should blame
articulate
women?
your question. We cannot fill in the gaps of what you're trying to communicate to us.
If you can't read the title of the panel, Flo, I'll have to get you a tutor to learn how to read.
If
Women
any
aren't
gender
to
not
blame.
cope with the other gender.
You just suck.
Oh.
Men's coping in the manosphere. So
Okay.
now we got some
So,
men on panel. Now we'll
Let me
talk
apply
about
the title.
manosphere.
Let me apply the title to the immediate example. Yes, you are to blame. You do suck. It's no woman's fault.
I'm not
that
a
you are the way
woman.
you are,
That doesn't make logical sense. I'm not a woman. Why
and
am
no
I to
woman
blame?
should submit to you either.
Rude Mudcrab has spoken with the Big Five. Flo was poking at fun. Flo was poking fun at something the Red Pill says, that their position showing that them blaming women is dumb. The men are equally to blame. Wi-Fi L. Take your L, Wi-Fi.
Why?
Yeah, you
boy, that's
lose,
a
Shell
classic.
boy.
I keep
love that.
hearing
Shout out
about
to Rude
this.
Mudcrab.
Fred
Did that
Hill.
count as a name change?
What is
I mean,
word?
no.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, change me to Wi-Fi. Go ahead.
I'm going to
Wi-Fi.
change that.
You gotta pay Sarah though. You gotta pay Sarah money first before she does it.
What does red pill mean? I keep
What?
hearing that.
Red
pill.
pill.
People can talk
Oh,
about
red pill
pill
means
is
dating
when
success
you
affected by
choose
rituals.
reality over propaganda.
No, it doesn't. No, that's not what red pill means.
It's a reference to the
context.
Matrix scene where he's like, "Take the red pill and see how things really are. Take the blue pill."
I can't
Go
believe
back to your
Yeah,
they
but
just
reality.
out geeked you, Hank. For shame. For shame.
But
And,
no, it's
that
bullshit.
That was probably a
Because
trans
they were still in
allegory.
the Matrix the whole time. They're still in the Matrix.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
where the
Somebody
analogy
actually-
came from, Hank.
Can I just answer because you guys are retarded?
Yeah. Yeah.
no, you can't because I'm not retarded.
Yeah,
Yes,
turn
you
Shut up.
are.
I'm
Okay, it's
only
time
If
to
I'm
get
retarded, then you
That's
are
our
also
word.
retarded.
Okay, I'm retarded too.
Okay, go ahead.
What is the red pill? The red pill, depending on who you're talking to, it could be any number of things. But as used in context here within the manosphere, it's people who are awakened to the truth, the reality of how things are. It generally refers to a mindset where dudes are bringing in all these statistics and perspectives, and women only want 80% of the men, or only 20% of the men, and da 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 da. Just it's a narrative. It's a worldview.
You started off good. You sucked at the end there.
If someone says,
I know. I
Yeah,
took
Yes,
it more and more
Stoko's
refined.
correct.
okay.
Yeah.
So my simple definition of red pill is dating success affected by rituals. So they usually sell you a whole bunch of courses and classes that don't make a difference, but it's a grift. Red pill.
That's really pickup artistry, though.
A lot of you guys
Yeah.
are younger, and I get it. When you're my age, you have to be blue pill for dating success. The little blue pill.
Yes.
You
Some people
probably
would
had
argue.
more dating success than anybody who adheres to a lot of those things.
Some people might argue, by the way, that pickup artistry is different from red pill.
Well, Finkel,
That's
at
okay.
least the steak tastes great. That's what matters.
Well, let them come up and argue it.
Is that a euphemism?
It's
the Matrix.
It's a reference to the Matrix.
Oh, the state,
dude. It's Flo the only person that saw the Matrix on the panel.
Okay, but
It's
I
made by
feel like
trans women, by the way.
people aren't able to accurately represent what the allegory actually is, right? The allegory is that you take the red pill because it provides you with a heightened sense of awareness to the actual issues underpinning society. In this specific paradigm, taking the red pill will again give you the idea or the mentality around the vindictive elements, qualities, behaviors of women that are working against their interest in dating, in engaging sexually, casually, or even for long-term marriage. It's a despair doctrine.
One of all of us.
It's a despair doctrine, and it's veiled under the idea. It's veiled under the idea of self-improvement. But when you really look into the inner workings of what it is, it's a stopping point for men who are in their fifis to piss around with other men who, unfortunately, don't move past that point into actually improving their lives. So it really is just kind of like something you fall into.
Yes, you said the same thing I said with more words. So
Hank, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm. You lost me at men pissing around.
Okay, so now define manosphere for us while you're at it.
No, we're not playing
Manosphere is the collective communities built into the internet and beyond for the interest and well-being of men. Whether or not they have a positive or negative impact on men, collectively, all these things could be considered. You could even make you can make an argument for the NFL being part of the manosphere. You could do that if you wanted to. I mean, it's not exclusive.
You could make an argument that all men are part of the manosphere.
It sounds like, it sounds to me like a support group.
So what's the point of the word?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know how to use words very well, Shellboy. So
these words are ambiguous, but it is certain. You know, if you've seen Fight Club, where Marla likes to go touring the different emotional help groups for people who have cancer and stuff. It's sort of like that.
Yeah. Emotional support group, yeah.
Yeah,
so do I have to
Do
I have to join MGTOW in order to be part of the manosphere or what? Like, where do I
You're
get my
ineligible.
card?
Well, the MGTOW component,
passport, bro, so you're in it.
The MGTOW component is where they kind of take the men's rights aspect and bastardize it and make like what Neve said, despair doctrine against women, where men are like the victims of feminism and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not even like you necessarily things like the red pill, MGTOW, they get bad raps for the sorts of creators, but you don't even have to do that. You don't even have to say Fresh and Fit, I hate them, they're cringe, therefore the red pill is cringe. Look at the outcomes. What are the conclusions being drawn by these communities? Apply that to your actual circumstance, and are you better for it now? Are you, I think that the red pill, again, outside of despair doctrine, if you're going into it specifically, you're going to leave the red pill with a hyper-vigilant mentality built around the dating lives of men and women who live in Miami, in millennials. Okay, so now apply that to your rural, small town community. Are you better for that or are you worse for that, right?
It doesn't apply.
It doesn't fucking apply. Yeah, it doesn't apply. I live in a small town in Canada, as we all know, right? But, people are getting married. People marry people from high school. They have kids. Nothing's changed. You know what I'm saying? Shit is what it is.
Neve, it can't be anything that's all bad. It's got to be some good points there, right? In that.
Yes, definitely.
I
yes.
also disagree with Neve. Yes. I live in small town Canada, probably within a stone's throw from you. I think it has changed drastically.
Here's the thing: the good stuff that's in the red pill was all brought from somewhere else. So there's really nothing original.
It matters not. It matters not if they're using it. Fucking Sun Tzu said it.
Yes. There is a version or a caricature of a man out there who is somewhat attractive, who is affluent, has a lot of money, and is constantly being taken advantage of by attractive women, vindictive, retributive women, and this person doesn't, for whatever reason, somebody who's reached this affluent status in life hadn't figured out how to draw boundaries around, the interest and the things that matter to him. So that is what the red pill is for. But it seems oxymoronic, doesn't it? It seems contradictory. That a man could reach that level of status and still be being dicked around by women to that degree, right? But that's the application. That is the person that
Neve, is
benefits.
it your
Can I
position
one second,
that the
one second, one second. Can I
between
just
men
get
and
one
women
example
haven't changed?
of like what the red pill like a positive thing that you could get from the red pill?
If you are a man and you struggle with drawing boundaries, if you're like sexually active casually, or if you're serious about making long-term engaging with a woman long-term for birth, like for kids or whatever, sometimes a lot of the things that the red pill says can kind of prod your mind around what boundaries make sense, what boundaries don't make sense.
So, Neve, I'm going to ask you a
Neve,
question.
That's my belief.
May I just get in here, Neve?
Joe's
And it's
asking a
important.
question.
It's important.
I understood you, Neve.
What's up, Joe?
And this is not meant to be insulting. Have you been married before?
Can you just get to your overall point here instead of
Yeah,
trying
really.
to dunk here?
My
What do you-
overall
what do you-
point
what's your
is that from a perspective of a married man, things have changed drastically in small town Canada, where you're talking from.
Okay, in your marriage, because how could you how could you make a descriptor for other marriages
make a
outside of your
descriptor
own
for-
marriage when
Yeah,
you're defining
really.
your own marriage?
Women are incentivized to leave.
No, I would make a descriptor from the other small town Canadian men that I've known since I was born. They
So
tell
you
me
and your
this,
5
and I agree.
friends. Okay.
So
That's
see,
a
here's
good example.
Neve.
I
I
would
think you
say,
provided.
if you're looking for a more accurate description or a more accurate metric of what's happening in small town Canada with married men, I mean, if I was wondering what was happening in the trans community, would it be relevant for me to ask Neve?
I think so.
now?
I'm not making any wider prescriptions. I'm talking about a specific use case and a man that may or may not engage with the red pill on that basis. And actually, what's underpinning this point that I made earlier, Joe, more than marriage, is actual casual dating. Right? That's actually the bulk here. If you
And has
actually
that
get
changed?
married, then the red pill doesn't apply to you whatsoever.
Has
Yeah.
that changed?
I would say that the circumstances and the barriers facing men's access to casual dating absolutely has changed. I don't think
Because
we
I
need
thought
to
I understood you
gaslight
as saying
society.
it hasn't.
Okay.
Maybe
well,
I
you're
misunderstood.
Never
confused.
said that.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Joe,
sort
you're
of disagree
confused.
with the premise. I disagree with the premise that it's like it could do that, not because you're wrong that like some try to do that. I think that the overall message though is to be against women, where setting boundaries should really be a cooperative thing if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody. And they're not teaching men how to set cooperative boundaries where you're communicating with your partner. You're not looking at them as an enemy, but somebody who, you're trying to be living
Yeah,
with.
but can I just ask a question? The red pill is a response to something. Now, Neve's point is that it was men in their fifis. What is the red pill a response to? And I really want to get bought off by this guy again. That's why I'm making myself.
Feminism. Next question.
Okay. So what is feminism? What part of feminism, Hank, is the red pill particularly responding to specifically?
It's a response to their failure. It's not to feminism.
Okay, so this failure is
It's responding to the ability for women to pick their own partner.
Okay, so I'll make a case and then you guys tell me if I'm wrong. I'm saying that the red pill is response to a Marxist feminist movement in our culture that's destabilized the family. What do you think it's a response to? Just this internal failure in men?
The women be able to pick their partner instead of their fathers.
May I give an answer real quick?
One sec, Hank. Where did the expression "a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle" come from?
I'm pretty sure feminism.
I've never heard that expression until now.
I have actually.
I disagree that it's a response to greater political movement. I think it tries to give itself a little bit of clout by saying it is, but really it's just individual men reacting to their own butt hurt because they're failing at relationships.
Well, let me read this really
must have
quick.
started
Rude Mud
somewhere.
Crab coming in with the big $5. He says, if not being with you is more beneficial than being with you, get good, losers. Sucks to suck. Thank you, Rude Mud Crab.
So if I were to point to something like Father Knows Best in the 50s and 60s as a popular TV show, and now point to Homer Simpson.
Okay.
Tell me the last popular TV show you saw with a stable married man that wasn't the butt of the joke.
What does that have to do?
Wait,
with
what about Al Bundy?
Any of these people are there because they're mad
Yeah,
at.
Al Bundy was the butt of the joke.
Yeah, he was not a stable so and so.
No, his wife was. But she was always the dum-dum.
Joe, when it sounds like you're communicating,
They're both kind
He
of.
always had to set her straight.
I guess.
It
I
sounds
don't
like
really
what you're
watch much
communicating
TV.
is that the media's somewhat portrayal of the family man as being some sort of like, caricature, incompetent, relying on the
Yes.
woman. This is some sort of justification for the red pill. Is that where you're going with this, or
Where I'm going with it is that it's a reflection of a larger Marxist agenda, especially in the
Okay.
political left,
Brain rot.
that revealed itself in academia,
is
in
boomer brain
communication
rot.
schools. Why is it brain rot? Take me through it.
It's,
Well,
it's
I mean,
brain
the
rot.
president
It's
didn't
brain
have a
rot
simple
because
marriage.
no, it's brain
Oh,
rot because
Joe, I've heard other
listen,
people
listen.
assert the same thing.
No,
Joe.
the equivalent to what you just did to this entire discussion would be for me to say that the red pill is like a Trump movement. It's mega, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously it's not, right? Maybe some red pillars also support Trump, but it's not because Trump exists that the red pill exists, right? See how
If you're going to
stupid
tell
that
me
got?
that it's not.
Yeah, red pill not.
Was it not?
The
was,
red pill
was,
doesn't
was-
exist because
was it not
Marxists,
like we have to stop?
communism
We have to
and
stop
feminism.
men
Means like
mansplaining.
one-
We have to stop men spreading on fucking subway things. Like was that not a thing during 2016 on the build up 2016 election? This whole like
Those are just
manspreading,
particular-
Well,
mansplaining.
no,
That's not really
yeah.
okay. So that's not really
Those-
feminism. Those are just particular discourses that erupted. Feminism's
Yeah.
trying to address inequality between the sexes.
Okay, so then what law does a man have? What laws do men have that women don't have?
All the exact same
He is a
ones
great
women have. There's
postmodernist.
no
There's
law
no
in the
description
U.S.
of what
Exactly.
this
So
thing
why
The
is
draft.
feminist like more prominent now than ever?
The draft.
Are abortion laws equally
They're the
applied
exact
to men and
same
women?
In a lot of states, it's changing. Men still have a Fourth Amendment right to medical privacy. In a lot of states, women are losing that right.
And the
Okay,
other
so
thing
it's
as
this
well-
whole thing of like that my body, my choice. But what happens when there's a draft?
Well, okay, let's make the logical conclusion here.
Some
Okay,
men
so
get
you
really
don't
cool.
get an
men-
option.
No, there's some sort of idea that
You
a lot
guys
of
really
men
need to pay
have that
attention to
in
the
equal
news
society.
because shit's going down in Ukraine.
Okay,
So I
interesting.
wouldn't laugh too much at the draft.
No,
Okay,
and this
there's
is the
a-
thing,
there-
it's the
listen,
ridicule
there
and
is-
oppose. I'm still trying to get
Joe,
you to
I've been
tell me what the
talking.
red pill
I've been
movement
talking.
is.
My voice is moving,
One at a
and
time, please.
these
Yeah,
are,
I
this is the
explained
sound
to
that my
you, you
voice
weren't
makes.
listening,
If you just want to
Joe.
wait for a second.
No, you
Uh,
didn't, Hank.
I think
You
that
just-
there's this
Okay.
idea that we send men and women to war that would equivalent to an equal society. But are these not the same family-driven, bring back the nuclear family type men? Like it seems like you're kind of just moving the goalpost consistently for women to have any sort of say or any breadth in society when it's convenient to you. Because I think at the end of the day, if the requirement for equality was sending men and women to war under the draft, we wouldn't do it either way. Because what are you doing? You're sending the mom of your fucking kids? Are you sending the wealth and the future generations of your society? Like it's a non-negotiable for a reason. It's like it's illogical. It's stupid. It's a talking
Yeah, I
point.
still haven't
Like,
heard an answer to
I
my
don't
question.
I'm gonna try
Joe,
to.
I
Yeah,
don't even
so
know
what?
I'm gonna
So
address what Joe
so
said.
let me tie this back. Let me tie this back because you're saying because the whole premise of my body, my choice is that the government should not have the right to say what I do with my body. But when it comes to the draft, you've just given the case. Yeah, fuck the men off to war because we need women to be able to do
No,
babies.
that's the
but all of a
conclusion that you're
sudden,
making.
they want the women to be able to have the right to not have babies as well.
No,
so
that's
which
the
way?
conclusion that you're
Which
making.
way? Which
Well,
way?
So
The
let's
Bible
be clear.
side.
No, let's be clear. Feminism,
Are women baby makers or not? Because if they're
feminism
not
to
baby
you-
makers, then I'll see you on the front line, sweetie.
feminism to you, again, the way you've painted it, the way your understanding is
I
played out in this
haven't given a definition of
conversation
feminism.
is some sort of excuse.
I haven't given a definition of feminism.
Okay, that's fine. You can be slimy, slippery about this the way whatever you want. What the implication that you're making here.
I'm not doing.
Okay, Terry,
Yes,
the implication,
salami
what your
teriyaki.
words, the
I
way they're
just
being
want
perceived to
consistency.
other people, okay?
Okay,
Are you
let me
okay?
define
Is that
red pill
okay?
versus
Yes.
So,
Hey,
so I have to feel bad for your
Stop,
perceptions.
Stop. Hold on, everybody stop. Hank,
No,
can
you just have
please-
to have responsibility
Hold
for
on.
the words
Can
you're
you
saying.
stop for just a moment? Hank, can you please stop with the interruptions as they're going with their dialogue back and forth?
I'm
It's a
just gonna leave the panel.
hold on,
See you
stop,
later.
Stop.
All right.
Fair enough.
How dare you tell him not to keep
I
interrupting
think,
everybody?
Caucasian Sasquatch and Bad Gemini were both backstage at one point. If either of you want to come up now, now's your chance before somebody else takes it.
I'll give my seat too, Sarah.
You don't have to.
Constricted,
Hey.
They're not backstage now. Oh well, Bad Gemini's here.
Hey, old Joe, before you leave, I answered you in chat. If you missed it, I can tell you now. The reason why it's not connected to Marxism is because you're not being a patriotic Canadian. That's what's wrong
this
with
is
your
it,
view.
and it's nothing to do with political left or right either. Those don't exist.
You
All
keep
good
making it
leftists
that way.
say that all the time.
Did you also notice that they
to
started?
be fair, like technically, I could still be drafted back only because I was in the military, and they can actually recall me if at any point they need.
Your old ass up.
They would probably like tap me out, but I could technically be pulled back at any given time. You know,
Feminism for the win.
any woman who has signed up for the military at some point can be recalled after they've done their time and served.
Oh, and old Joel.
Yeah, and that's not what I'm getting at, Sarah. The main reason why I brought this up was that when it comes to draft, you're like, okay, yeah, fair enough. I have to do that duty to my country. But this whole kind of argument that she was like, my body, my choice. I get to kill kids essentially all the way up to like 8 months pregnant makes no sense because we have stuff like the draft. We have that sense of duty that there's a higher purpose at stake here.
Well, in all fairness, I don't believe in abortion and I don't support it in any direction. Yeah. But I also still sign that check as well. So I think some of this comes down to individuality, right? And what we're willing to do and what we're not willing to do. And of course, now we've reverted abortion back to the states, which is where it should belong. And I see where you're going with your point, but I think there's still a landslide of individuality and who's willing to write that check, because there's a lot of men out there. If they got drafted, they'd find ways to scapegoat out of it or move to.
I know a lot of women who would
I think it's fine.
A lot of women who would fight.
Well, I'm just saying. I think if the goalpost for your
was like kicking the can down the road. Sounds
and
like
I also just want to shout out Rude Mud Crab coming with the big 2, Win, Timu, Ronan, Keaton, El Neve, and I leave the floor to Neve.
Okay, I just wanted to say if if the goalpost for gender equality for men is men and women being drafted, that's fine. I accept that you hold that position. You just don't give a fuck about families. Stop saying you care about families. You don't give a fuck about it.
My response back was to Finkel.
I think it's a complete
I said,
what
law do women have, or what law do men have that women don't have? And then Finkel below me said, well, women are losing their bodily autonomy, but I made the point that bodily autonomy gets thrown out the fucking window when a war gets brought up.
I did not say they're losing their bodily autonomy. I said they're losing their Fourth Amendment right to medical privacy.
Can you tell me what that is?
So what was that? What's that in reference to?
That is in reference to when a woman goes to a doctor, that decision they make, those medical records that are developed, is their business, not the government's, not the states, not the counties, not the feds.
Which for what procedure?
Any procedure.
Really? What
procedure in particular?
What if it's killing their 8.5-month-old? Sorry.
Going on. I'm sorry.
What if it's get rid of the 8.5-month-old pregnant baby? Is it still just their business?
That was my position.
How do you know that it's a 3-week-old fetus or a 2-month-old placenta without a fetus or a 7-month-old fetus? The only way you can know that is if you peer into the private medical records.
No, I'm saying afterwards when you're fishing this 8-month-old out of the trash, and some people are going to think the woman has committed, murder on the kid. I didn't want to say the word.
If you have proof of murder, if you have reasonable cause for murder,
might have fished it out.
These states who want to track a girl's menstrual cycles, these states who want to track why is this woman leaving the state to a blue state.
For the record, tracking a woman's menstrual cycle is almost impossible. We are oftentimes irregular all over the place. You have menopause, you have early menopause, you have when you first start getting your period, it's all you're not consistent whatsoever. Your hormones actually don't start to balance out until you have babies. So that's just the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. If that's actually something true, it'd be merely fucking impossible.
Any good Christians here will abide by the bust and trust principle. You just bust and trust in God.
By the way,
it's impossible to track accurately, but there are states asking.
There's nothing to track a woman's fucking cycle by. It's all over the place. Sometimes
rhythm method works.
It's
Just
the phases of the moon, Sarah. Read a book. Anyway, Spinkle, do the human.
You have so many environmental things that step in on your period. One little.
No, it's just phases of the moon.
One little tidbit
baby
of
time.
stress.
Go ahead. Skipping
one
it.
little
Moving on.
tidbit of stress, and your period's late, and then you get even more stressed out because you're like, why the hell is my period late? And then it goes on, and then finally it comes like 2 weeks later, and you're like, what the hell? So
Sarah,
it's
Grumpy Tomato
like.
So by the way, I have no problem with like medical secrecy.
Different one.
Does the human baby have a bodily autonomy, or do they not count?
Oh my God, Dad! Hold on.
Postnatally, yeah.
This is compliments to my father. I don't know why you're requesting this shit, Dad, but here you go. This one's for you.
Don't kink shame your dad.
This message is sponsored in part by
Slow talk through the muted part.
Sarah's dad.
There's a lot
She
to
was
read
negligent.
into.
You're right. She should have been dead. That. You were right.
I'm going to read very deeply into your dad asking for that, Sarah.
Okay, so did the human babies have body autonomy, Finkel?
Especially after you talk about periods.
Oh,
Sarah, where do you think you came from? It shouldn't be weird to you.
What is a baby in this context?
From a butt.
A human, a young human that's developing from the conception of life.
Okay, so are we talking about infanticide or are we talking about abortion?
We're talking about after conception, human life.
Okay, so you see the premise was loaded in the way that you said it.
Way.
So the premise is loaded in the way that you said it. So thank you for setting that up.
What's the difference between infanticide and abortion?
Finkel, he's a big fan of bodily autonomy, especially with women. Do the female women that are inside of the pregnant mothers, do they have bodily autonomy, or just the
An American citizen becomes a citizen when they are born in America or they are naturalized.
Okay, Joe, the question, what's the difference between abortion
so humans
and
are born at conception, so
do we kill illegal immigrants?
To murder them at
born
any point
when a living, breathing baby leaves the
What is
vagina.
birth?
It should be obvious, no?
Oh,
Humans
so
are
you
born
can go
at
and kill
conception?
pregnant women's babies, and there's no consequences for that, Neve?
I said the
They're not
death
born
of a
yet.
baby,
homicide.
They're just
the death
a
of a
clump cells.
baby when it's living and breathing post vagina exit. Do you guys?
Babies
really
breathe
don't know what
inside the womb, by
infanticide
the way.
is,
They breathe
He just said
amniotic
birth.
fluid.
He just
so-
said birth happens after conception.
I hate it when I
They're already
agree with
breathing.
Wi-Fi because he argues my point so
one
bad.
at a time. One at a
Let
time.
me put it this way. A woman or a girl walks into a clinic or hospital that treats women or girls' issues. Why does she walk in? My answer to that is it's nobody's business but hers.
Is it anybody's business
that way about
if that
getting
woman
shots a few
murders
years ago?
a child?
Finkel, did you feel the same way about getting shots a few years ago?
Shocked?
Ooh, shot. Don't say the word, but you know.
You can't say the V word, but you know what
Jab.
we're talking about.
The jab. And while Finkel is thinking long and hard about that, Hank has requested with his $2 to see the horse again. Usually, Hank, I make it a full $10 to request it, but since you're kind of new here, I'm going to give you a freebie. Here you go.
This message is sponsored in part by
Poor girls get
All right,
workout tonight.
Finkel, tell me about the shots.
Oh, the
Yes.
VA.
Jab.
I was never forced to get one. I got.
Are you still in favor of people's medical stuff being private and not anybody else's business?
I'm in favor of it being private. It's the Fourth Amendment right. Your medical records are part of your papers and effects. It's private. It's nobody's
You have
business.
been banned from
If
the left.
that's so, if that's
eternally. You are
okay, let me
canceled.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. If you believe in the right to privacy with your medical stuff, then how are they able to force the jab onto people, especially in the government or in order to get a job, and you have to show proof of the jab?
I believe that's also a violation of the Fourth Amendment right to medical privacy.
But it was never forced.
So wait a sec.
Had
So
an
if someone has an STD, if someone has an STD, you believe they shouldn't have to disclose that?
No, you shouldn't have to disclose that.
Oh my god.
No, because it's okay. Fingal, maybe not, but like it's you go to jail, right? Like it's not a form of sexual assault. I'm pretty sure it is.
Not in Canada. It can be assault, but it's
Sorry,
rarely
to be
prosecuted.
really clear about what I'm saying here is if you have like say herpes, right? And you have sex with somebody and you don't disclose that, and that person like carries that STI forward or has some sort of negative effects. Ideally, it would be something more severe than herpes, although I think herpes is pretty severe in my opinion. But like, let's say HIV, right? You don't disclose that to someone. You have sex with that person. They contract it. You're going to fucking jail, right? So I think
you shouldn't, Eve. I agree, you should, but in Canada, you don't necessarily. At least not for some of the. I don't know about HIV.
I have to Google it. I actually don't know.
It
That's
can
my
be.
I want to
personal
know how
opinion.
everybody knows about this.
It can be
Bad
considered
Gemini,
assault.
Bad Gemini, your thoughts to the panel, please. Lay it on thick.
Look, this is a Monday. I'm on good behavior. I'm sorry. Look, I'm not going to give you the energy you're looking for right now. First off, Neve is an assassin over here, so I know how to pick and choose my battle.
That is the exact energy she was looking for. What are you talking about? Go ahead.
It's not coming. She got a whole sniper rifle out here, and I'm not trying to get one. I don't play video games, so I'm not going to get shot for fun. So and then you got your boy up here. You know, he's just hacking them down. He's on his second box. Like, you talk about medical rights. We don't need to know medical rights to know that Flow State's lungs are tied right now based on the way he's busting back these damn cigarettes. So I'll be the doctor.
I've been exercising these lungs for 20 years.
Yes, and they've been tired for 20 years, but apparently you keep showing up. So kudos to you. I just saw lip gloss sighting. I'm glad but she knows when to put it on. See, when a real man comes up here, you know when you got to have these juicy lips. It's not for me, but just in case they were for me, it doesn't hurt. And she applies another coat. So thank you. Look, I do want to.
That was cold. She's letting you know it was for you.
Yeah, you said a whole nother topic. But honestly,
I'm taken, Sarah. Stop it.
Look. I know y'all jumping all over the place. I'm not playing these games with Neve. Y'all can have the political stuff because I'm going to lose unless I'm going to look in somebody's books. And I just look at fantasy football. But when it comes to women aren't to blame, you just suck men's coping in the manosphere. I'm going to be honest. As a regular guy, before I hit these YouTube streets, I didn't have a concept of a manosphere. So it's like, when did it become popular? When did this become this? I know people reference the Matrix and all that. I didn't know it all about. I just know, hey, we homies, we talking that real talk, whether it's sitting in the meter box, in the gym locker room, wherever, where guys congregate, right? Obvious the barbershop. Then it morphed into this whole thing. Really, it's battle of the sexes, and that's
really is women are shitty. That's the big outcome. Women are shitty. That's the
well, not.
message
It's no,
I
but you have to
get.
be the right type of woman. No, they love women. They love women, though. It's not that women. It's you have to be groomed to be the woman that you should naturally be able to be. And so that's funny when men come. When it's my daughter, I can teach her certain things to look out for from men. But when I'm a grown man and now I have to take the task of grooming another grown woman, like that's when I'm like, look, we can come and meet in the middle, right? This manosphere is taking it to a whole nother level. It's like, if you do these things and follow these rules, then you'll be the woman of every man's dream. I'm like, what? Like, what are we talking about? Like, I didn't hear anywhere in what you were doing. All you were saying is I have the right to speak now as a man. And because I can speak now as a man, word is bond, listen to me. I need to hear what us men are doing right before I start throwing out all these requests from women. So that's why I take, I'm the bad person. I can't represent the manosphere until I'm talking about my flaws and what I'm trying to do right. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you on all that.
Here's something I wanted to ask the men on the panel. Is there like, and I'm not necessarily referring to locker room talk, I'm talking like a brotherhood almost, but is there like a bro code that men should follow? Is there like, you know, having each other's backs and stuff like that? Because I've heard about this talk for the women.
There's a bunch of them. Was there one in particular that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, rule number one is you don't talk about Fight Club.
Wait, but you just, never mind.
Yeah, I know. No, there's the bro code. There's the bro code. Go ahead.
Rule number one is never take accountability for your own actions as it relates to the other sex.
In my experience, men are not very good at supporting one another like women do. At least what I observed from the outside in women's groups.
Get out. Get out. You out of your mind, man.
What was that?
Yeah, but they'll hate each other, but
Women
they'll also
hate
support
each other.
Women suck at supporting each other, right?
I don't
They
agree
act
at
like,
all.
you know,
I
yes,
don't
go
agree
to
with
a
that at all.
class, but in real life, they all hate each other. Every woman I've ever met say, I don't hang with women. They're shit. Every woman I've ever met said
That's a
that.
red flag.
Women will like hate each other, but then they'll like talk it out, and then they'll be like supportive of each other.
Hey,
when
where's
they meet.
Michelle?
Talk it out. There's no
With
talk.
women,
Have
it's
you heard
like
me?
an illusion.
Okay, is
there's
that
that
a
basic
pro-go?
illusion where it's
Define a
like
man
they'll basically try
distant
to.
the other way around.
There's an
No,
illusion of like
women
friendship or friendliness to it,
Women
whereas a
just
man
love-
is you're on your
women
own.
Yes,
just
you're on
avoid
to
each
something,
other.
Terry. You're on to something.
Women just typically avoid each other once they've determined, like, nope, that's not my person. Like, you just disappear. Like, and
Okay,
you're
let
no
me
longer.
put a scenario out there, a quick one, and see if you agree. You have a guy that comes to his guy friends. He's drinking in his shop around a fire, and he starts complaining about his wife and whining.
Whoa, that ain't supporting
Hang
you,
on,
man.
no, please let me
I'm
finish.
sorry. I'm sorry.
So, okay, that man does that in that group, or you have a lady that's having trouble with her husband and she goes into a stitch and bitch and complains to her husband, her friends about the husband. Who
Love that you
is more
mentioned that.
likely to be supportive?
The man not supportive. You're not supporting that nigga by letting him indulge in his fucking problems. I
Oh,
didn't
your
supportive.
words, your words.
He's black. It doesn't count.
I don't care. I don't
So am
like him
I.
on the panel.
So you
But
say
I
by
don't
your
think
affection,
look,
Joe
women
Cool,
aren't
that
really
you're helping
supporting
him.
each other. Women have different.
Joe, the
social
term is person
norms,
of color.
but it's
good
not
sir.
support. It's
That's
subversion.
even worse. Are we gonna go freedom fight?
It's BIPOC now, Black Indigenous people of color.
Okay, the truth is that women are very supportive of each other until they get married or they enter relationships, and then they fall off the face of the earth.
Or they
so you have a lot of support.
or they're having
No,
a
you have
bad
a lot
day,
of.
or their friend's hair looks better than theirs, or any number of things happen, and then they're
Okay.
crabs
I
in the
can't-
fucking bucket.
All right.
I think once they get married, their support network begins to change. I know when I got married and had babies and did all that, like my friend group started becoming like other married women as a friend group. Whereas my single friends, it was like the lifestyles were two completely different things. It's not that I stopped hanging out with them. It's just that the relatability and the ability to go grab coffee or something, all of those things really changed a lot. And even the conversations changed. Like I'm talking about which diapers are you using, and the kid got sick. Is it going around, or things like that? Or let's set up a play date. So your lifestyle changes along with that, and therefore your friends do too.
Do you think there would be a different dynamic if you got a group of single dads together with 1-year-olds, as opposed to if you got a group of moms together? Would there be a different dynamic in that crowd? How would it be different?
How would it be different? The man would be when the 1-year-old falls, would say, dust your knee off, put some dirt on it. The women would say, oh my God, come here, baby. That's one way.
First off, all the men will be asking each other, where are the kids? Because we don't have confidence. It's like, hey, you seen any kids in the last 15 minutes? We're having a good time here. Like
I heard one crying 20 minutes ago. I'm sure.
Right, was it yours or mine?
I think the meeting of moms, at least with like young children, is the most disingenuous / compassionate gathering of people. Like there's the social pressures of engaging with other people your age in a similar circumstance. Those will always be there. They carry on in every degree of life. But then there's the compassionate element of like having that shared, there's a child, and the development of the child and exchanging that. But, all these things are pretty dense from the outside perspective looking in. But then when you look in on it, it's like it gets disingenuous. Like my mom, for example, I literally, every single time I needed to do something that involved another parent, she would sour like a fucking grape on the spot every time. And it wasn't because she was antisocial, she didn't have social skills. It was because of that same type of fucking energy. She can sit there with another mom and talk about how we're doing in school and whatever X, Y, and Z. But when the conversation shifts from us, she does not give a fuck, and that's the disingenuous energy that I've seen a lot with a lot of moms. I think it's funny, but it's you know, it is what it is. I'm just.
So, in your opinion, when they're showing interest in other children, it's more of a polite gesture.
Yes.
I think it's a shared journey.
And also, while we're on the topic of deceptions, women are raunchier than men.
Oh, hell yeah.
I wanted to.
That was raunchy, Sarah. Yes, that was pretty raunchy.
So cool. I wanted to.
You should hear this. Like, I remember my group texts, man. We were just, we're nasty. We're nasty.
The guy will be like, I banged her, and that's the end of it.
Yeah,
the girl will be like, look, by the time a girl's done talking about her one night stand, every other woman who's listening to her could draw an exact to scale replica of his dick.
Where they were, what they
all
ate,
the positions,
you know?
the exact times.
There's a reason
How bad
romance
his
novels
breath
are for women. Joe Cool, I wanted to address what you said real quick about like men being one way with kids and women being another. I think like if we're talking about a 1-year-old here, that demonstrates that women might actually have more knowledge of where kids are at with being able to learn stuff. Because that 1-year-old's not going to learn any lessons from being told to like brush it off and stuff like that. You really want to wait till like maybe 4 or 5 and as late as 7 if your child's just not showing that they're learning.
No. I wouldn't argue that the man skills don't come in until the kids a little older and stuff like that.
So I think that instinct for men to do that to a 1-year-old would be bad.
You're toast.
Anyways, to wrap it up, I just think that instinct for men to do that to a 1-year-old would be bad. Just to be clear.
Well, I don't think the 1 years old even walking to fall. I was being a little dramatic, man.
Oh, they fall. They fall.
I mean, they
1-year-olds find ways to fall.
I'm old. I don't know.
It's like so a toddler trying to walk is like dealing with a grown drunk best friend. Like, and I'm talking shit-faced, annihilated. If you put a toddler and a drunk adult next to each other, it's the same appearance, right?
You're just
you're following them around. You're like, please don't. Nope, this way. Nope.
You're dissing your drunk friends more than the toddler right now. Just
It's other things too, like persistent and emotional dysregulation that happens when people drink. It's almost like a 1-to-1. It's pretty funny. The more you think about it, the
crying,
more
or they get angry, or they're all over the place. Especially women, like, you know when a woman is going through something when she's crying while she's intoxicated. You know shit's rough, like, because she just starts crying out of nowhere, and you're like, why are you crying? I don't know.
Yeah. I wish Flo would do some shit like
bartenders.
They start talking about something like that had nothing to do with the night, or you look at them the wrong way. You say, "I like your shoes." They're not even my shoes. I don't have any cute shoes. Like, it's all over the place.
Bartenders and daycare workers share the same disposition on life. It is fucking bizarre. They do. They go to work with the same attitude. They care. Duty of care. These are somebody else's friends, kids. It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell you, as a single father of a 1-year-old, there are far less supports around. I've never run into a single dads group for 1-year-olds. There are lots of them for women. But what I'm wondering is, if women are better at caring for children of that age, is it actually a good thing to discourage single fathers from looking after their 1-year-olds full time? Are we doing a good thing in the long run if we encourage single mothers to be the ones